You're fed up. I'm fed up. I'm not even putting up an intro here. We're just going to get to the deal because this is your show. We're answering your questions. Welcome to the RGR Q&A. It's Monday Night Football. The Cowboys are going to be on against the Raiders. We think we know how that's going to end. So we're just going to jump into the drama that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome in. If you don't know us, I'm Ryan Tracy. This is Dan Harms. We run this around here. This is RGR Football together with our pal Gary, who you can see later in the week. We're going to tell you the truth. It may be pretty ugly tonight, folks. I'm just going to warn you, but we're going to tell you the truth, and we're going to get to your questions. You guys run this show. We just provide the answers. Thank you for being with us. We're brought to you tonight by Brunt. Check them out. I'll have something for you here in a little bit, but we're just jumping right into the deep end because Micah and Chessmaster were in here early, and I appreciate you guys. It's nice to see you. Chessmaster asked an interesting question. McDuffie at 29 mil or Chanel at 13? If we miss the playoffs or are one and done, will that open up McDuffie trade talks a la Tyreek? Are we still blessed to have Mahomes? So everyone needs to chill out. I appreciate you. The results of this season mean nothing for the trade McDuffie talks. He is not in the same situation Tyreek is. He is not looking at declining health or the possibility of injury or anything else. He's been an Ironman. So I don't think the outcome of this season changes anything for McDuffie's future in Kansas City. But the cost is the cost. And 29 mil versus a linebacker at 13 when you're already paying Nick Bolton, 17 on average?
Yeah.
I am not sure that Leo Chenal is going to get that kind of contract. But I would say value-wise, Leo at 10 is probably a better value than McDuffie at 30. What do you think?
I can't get there. And it's not because I don't love Leo Chenal. It's because Leo Chenal is a part-time only player. That's the thing. Is if you go and watch the games, Trent McDuffie gets targeted two, 3 times, maybe. He was targeted once yesterday, once or twice.
I think
they went after Jalen Watson. They went after everybody else. Trent McDuffie is the player they don't want to look at. And it's as much about Trent as it is everybody else too. Like, let's be honest about who they're targeting. They know they can go after Nick Bolton. They know they can kind of target everybody else, Christian Fulton and everything else. So yeah, I think that Trent McDuffie is the one player that I'm personally not going to care about in terms of the money. I think he's going to be worth it and all that.
That's absolutely fair. Trent McDuffie on the day targeted 3 times, allowed 1 reception, best reception percentage on the team that wasn't, some crazy little defensive end dropping into coverage or something like that. For a total of 9 yards. I mean, passer rating against 42. 42.
Yeah.
That tells you what you need to know. And Leo Chenal, I think, because the money is there, I agree. You pay elite talent. McDuffie is that. The $30 million range, if it goes above this 29, if it goes into the 30s, I start to have concerns only because of what it does to the cap, not because of the player. It's just another player at that level is going to hurt your future. So that's my concern. That said, definitely not the same situation as Tyreek, which I think we've seen kind of play out the way the Chiefs expected it to when he went to Miami. Thank you for the question, though. Appreciate you, Micah, and thank you. Hope you're doing good, buddy. Does Worthy have a deep ball tracking problem? Absolutely not. I watched it 5 times, and he slowed down on that open post route when he looked up to track the ball. Keep running at full speed. It's TD. I'm not necessarily convinced with that. I do see what you see, but I do think there's an expectation that in the lights and under the lights, when the pressure's on, I think it's more of a keep training your mind to run through the ball because you have Patrick Mahomes. I don't think it's a tracking problem. I think it's a years of learning that you have to play to your quarterback, and your quarterback this time can actually throw it out there.
There's a couple of things to this. I personally don't think he slowed down nearly enough that made a made a difference. We're talking about an iota of slowdown, barely enough to make that transition, to make the 5 yards where Patrick missed him matter. Okay, because I'm watching him run by Jahdae Barron, who was also a very fast player, And if he slows down, you don't actually notice because Jade is still sprinting to catch up.
Right.
He can't catch up to him. So I don't think it had any impact on where the ball would have been dropped in the bucket if Patrick puts it on him. Number 2, this play is drawn up, yes, for Travis Kelce, who is open on the play. But Patrick is looking at that deep safety. He's basically flat-footed. I want to know how often they throw that deep post, because one thing that you will notice on tape is that a lot of times Andy Reid sends players to run at safeties or at defensive players, and they don't ever expect the football. That's, again, more of a practice thing, not an expectation based on what you are practicing. So I personally don't believe that it impacted where the football should have gone. Patrick overthrew him, even if he doesn't halfway slow down a little bit, if that's what the case is. So I just think Patrick missed him.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's a flip side to that coin, and it is that for Patrick, knowing that the pass rush is coming and you have the speediest dude in the history of the combine out there, like, I think he put a little extra into it because he's like, well, I'm just going to put it out there where only he can get it. You know what I mean?
And that's the problem we've seen. He overshoots everybody.
Well, and that difference between 97% of his arm and 100% of his arm is inaccuracy. That's where when Patrick Mahomes has to heave it, something's going to go wrong.
I have a question for you. When you look at some of the great deep balls around the NFL, one thing you notice is that there's more arc to it. There's almost none on Patrick Mahomes. It is a laser in terms of deep ball accuracy. Does he need to put more air under it? Like, that's something that I think we need to talk a little bit more about, because he does just kind of line it out there. One of the things that I watch, like Josh Allen, who has gotten better at that, adding just a little bit more air, because in that situation, if Patrick puts a little bit more air under it and still puts it in the same spot, Xavier runs under it for a touchdown. So I wonder if that's something that we should probably talk about more, not necessarily like the deep ball accuracy, but the mechanics. Also, if you look at his footwork on that throw, he is all over the place. He's like his right foot is going off to the right. He's throwing off balance. That's impacting it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's more on that, because I will tell you this. The arc is certainly a conversation to have, and I think there's a range that makes it, from here to here is a difference, but it makes it more catchable. I completely agree with you there. But it's also the fact that when you do that, you are putting more expectation on the receiver to win at the catch point and to make sure that he's not only tracking, but that he is able to go win that. Because if the arc doesn't allow him to run through it, then you're in a situation where the DB is literally on your back. And so I think the reason that he does it is A, because he could throw it 70 yards on the rope if he wants to. But B, because I think he's trying to take advantage of the initial separation at the end point rather than allowing or putting more pressure on his receivers. He's trying to keep it all on himself, which maybe is admirable, but it isn't working is the problem. At least that's the way I see it. Steve, thank you. It's nice to see you too, buddy. I appreciate you guys being here. And everybody, if you don't know us already, the question marks at the beginning definitely helped me pick it out of the chat. And Super Chat's always get an answer, so we're going to get started with them. Hanneman, nice to see you. Thank you for the support. This one hurt man, that'd be me, I think. What happened to the Pat's deep ball? I was watching highlights with Tyreek's TDs, and Pat was actually hitting him in stride. How did it get this bad? Is his mechanics and the receiver's ball tracking, or both? It's not even tracking. It's that Tyreek plays at one speed, and if he says, I'm going all out, Patrick knows how to hit him. And Patrick can just let it go, like nearly full bore, in my opinion. He doesn't have to hold back. He doesn't have to layer it as much. I think it's a combination of both, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I would agree. It's right now. I feel like Patrick's fighting mechanics more than anything else. The second one, if you watch the plays back, the second deep ball to Tyquan Thornton. I'm sorry, the first deep ball to Tyquan Thornton on the same drive. He stepped into it, and it was a better mechanical throw with his footwork up through his arm, and there wasn't a crazy follow through, and he just missed him, just missed. So that one was a better dial back from Patrick to not just completely overthrow him and get his feet under him, get right, step into the throw. He rushes himself a lot, in my opinion, on his deep ball. And because I think he gets excited, and that's unfortunately, in the beginning of football games, if you come in wanting to throw the football down the field, you can't get excited. You can't. You have to throw the football mechanically correct from your base up. And Patrick did not do that on the first one. I think that's why he overthrew Xavier. And then on the second one, he was much better. He still just missed an open Tyquan Thornton down the right-hand side. So I think for me, it's more mechanics than anything.
There's a couple of things to that, though, that I want to ask you about. But first, the separation at the end for Tyquan, how did you feel that it was? Was it an extraordinary play that he would have had to make to catch that, given the contact with the DB?
No, I think that he was in front of him. He stacked him. I wouldn't have had any worries about him catching the football.
Then that becomes two things. One, he's relying on maybe his least experienced receiver to make that play. So maybe he is a little bit anxious about that. But two, to your point, you know how you correct that anxiousness? You put it in every top 15 play chart. You take 2 shots in every top 15. So you wear that shit out. So it's not a problem anymore because quite frankly, it works. As long as, and I think what I really liked about both of those plays is it wasn't a lingering 4-second pass. If I didn't run it down all the way to that level, but his ability to get the ball out, even on the deep throws, was fast enough that I think it's still doable in most games. So those shots have to be in the top 15 for me going forward every single game.
And to your point about that, if we're looking at what defenses are going to do, the game plan was to force the Broncos to back up.
I'm losing Dan a little bit. I don't know if you guys are. Letting me know in the chat, will you?
Because I think they were going to sit over here like multiple times. Am I back yet?
Yeah, now I got you.
Okay. So I think I was messing with the internet because I was going to have the game on to the right, and apparently it's taking up too much bandwidth. So exited out of that. Hopefully that clears it up. But I forgot what I was saying. All right.
The whole thing about putting it into the top 15, making sure that you're emphasizing it every game to get that like anxiousness out.
Yeah. So the first drive, right? They went and they knew the Broncos were going to sit on things underneath, which, okay. They make a quick pass early. They get 11 yards and they tell the Broncos, hey, we're going to do the same thing. And then they went deep. Then they went deep multiple times. I think that was smart because it allowed them to now get back into the quick passing game, get to the RPOs, which we're going to talk about. Don't worry, we are going to talk about the RPOs, guys. But it shows that they can sequence things properly, but it kind of fails if you don't hit on those shots.
It's kind of like boxing. The jab only works if you actually land an actual punch every now and then, right? The jab underneath will work, but you got to connect when you actually throw something. You know, in wrestling, you can't fake a single leg all day long unless you actually go in and shoot. So at the end of the day, I think that helps them. And if they keep that in, I agree. That was a smart way to go about it. You just got to be able to get that anxiousness out and I think feel more comfortable with it, and that'll help. So do it more, Andy, for the love of God. If you're going to just call 45 pass plays, just put them in there. Let's get after it. Thank you. Appreciate you. Micah, thank you for your question as well. And Hanneman, you're always appreciated. Rice disappeared after that hard hit from the safety on the run play. He dropped passes and couldn't get open. Do you think the hit affected his play? What do you think?
I watched him drop a pass before he got hit. He dropped that over route from left to right in the red zone, and they stalled out after that. Like he was going to get a first down on that play most likely, and he dropped it. Rice just wasn't in it that game. Like he just was not in it, and that's a problem to have when he's your best receiver and he's not mentally in it that game. And those were not technical drops. They were just concentration drops. He wasn't looking to catch football. He just didn't secure it. The one that he should have caught that you would say most technical was the fade route. And don't get me started on running fades against man coverage when you ask Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice to basically do nothing. That bothers the absolute hell out of me because I see people who don't know how to watch film posting these on Twitter saying, oh, look at these guys running against man coverage. It's a fade route. Yeah, they need to add some release package to the game for sure. But you're blaming the receivers running a fade route against man coverage. who gets open against fade routes in the NFL against man coverage right now? Who gets clean open? Please
No.
tell me.
Yeah, show us, please.
It's a catch point thing. Rashee Rice timed it a little bit early, in my opinion, but the ball went through his hands.
Yeah, he got his hands on it. That's the point. You should show one of those on Wednesday. I'm just asking. You don't have to, but I'm just asking.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to get through some stuff.
Okay, sweet. And thank you for clarifying that, because I couldn't remember whether one of the drops was before the hit or not, because I had the same thought at one point, Micah. So thanks for asking the question. And Dan, thank you for, clearing up my old memory, because that happens to me sometimes. Sorry about that. It's the truth. Appreciate it. Thank you, Cole. Appreciate everything Andy has done. But he has done for the past tense words. The fact that there's nothing positive to say using present tense words says everything. Which NFL OC should be our new head coach? Well, I'm not on that bandwagon yet, Cole. But there are guys out there. I really, I slept on it, Dan, and your idea of putting Dable in this building just to be the grenade in the room. I do think there are some good things that can come from that. But let's be real. Are the Giants ready to make Mike Kafka their permanent head coach? Because if they're not, he's certainly learned some tricks since he's been gone. Bring him back. You just want new blood no matter what?
No matter what. I'm
okay.
done. I'm done with the same, because the problem isn't the same people with new ideas. It's the same people getting back into the old ways with Andy Reid. Because you come in and you are, this is my way. They need somebody that will push back against that. And I know everyone's going to be, I've seen multiple people already talk about Eric Bieniemy. No, it needs to be somebody different, because for everything that Eric Bieniemy was, I'm pretty sure his career is not only plateaued, it is going the opposite direction. And personally, I think that there are far more intriguing, intelligent, and creative minds that have some of that fire to them that would help this offense more so than an Eric Bieniemy would.
I won't necessarily disagree with you. I'm a little more comfortable with it than you are, but I will say this. Whether it's your guy Dable or Eric, he's got to have cojones. That is a number one must-have, because you got to put up to Andy Reid something that resembles resistance, an alternate point of view, because I think you're going to get your wish, folks. I think people are going to look at Matt Nagy as a head coaching candidate, and I think he's going to jump at probably another bad job and put himself in another bad position because he wants to be a head coach. I don't think you're going to have to worry about Matt Nagy that much longer. So then we really have to see, how does Andy react to being pushed by someone, if you get your way, from outside of his tree? Yeah. Because I think he's more receptive to it when it's in his tree. But that's going to be, I think, the critical turning point. Thank you, Cole. Appreciate you. Micah's got another one because he was in here early. What are you seeing on film from how George K can't get sacks at the beginning of the play? He can get effort sacks all day long, but the QBs hold it too long, and they scramble, and if nothing happens fast. And I went and checked on this, and Dan's going to tell you because he's looked at the reps, but I just looked at the stats because I want to track the number one thing that matters early in a rep, and that's your get off. I'm going to tell you this. The fastest get off on the league by average is Myles Garrett. And I've been slow to come around on him. I'm not terribly impressed with his hand usage, et cetera, et cetera. He's uber strong for his length, and the boy gets off the ball. That's just bottom damn line. 0.73 is his average get off. Chris Jones is running at 0.85. Elite for his position, especially not being an edge, right?
Yeah.
George Karlaftis is running at 0.89 for the season. He's right there with Chris Jones. The difference is after contact. It's not the get off. It's what you do once you're off. And George Karlaftis is even closer. When he's on his left side where he prefers to be, he's actually getting off in 0.86. Nearly the same as Chris Jones. But Dan, what happens after that first step and a half?
Balance. It's balance, because if you watch Chris Jones, he's not just one of the most well-balanced players on the field. He's nimble and his hands are fast. It's not just the get off, it's the hand speed, because Chris comes up, he plays really, really high too, but he swipes. He is swimming. He is swiping because his hands are so fast. They work so quick, and no one knows how to react to them. Once George Karlaftis gets off the ball, he's waiting to react. He's waiting for someone to contact him. He's not going after anybody and swiping hands and stuff like that. He doesn't have the hand speed and the balance to match those things up. So he's doing better getting off the ball, but he's doing this. It's this. It's not this.
And it's
Okay?
mostly
They're-
into a chest, not around a chest.
He doesn't have the ankle flexion. He doesn't have the bend to use that speed to get around the edge. He uses it to go into the tackle. So he can hopefully create some vertical push that way to get inside, because he can't win around the edge. He just cannot do it from a pass rush perspective to create real pressures, things like that. He has to try to win inside. So Chris Jones is different in the sense that he comes off with his hands ready to fire off and slap away and do whatever he needs to. George Karlaftis is kind of torpedoing into a tackle, and that's why he can't generate and close quickly.
I will say this. The positive to take from this is that George Karlaftis is a young player and still has a lot of room to maneuver. He needs some time with Mr. Miyagi. He's got to improve his hand usage so that players can't get on his chest. If he can do that, he has a better chance.
He's been working with Tom Bahali since the first offseason. It's not happening. It's not happening. So I agree with you, but he's literally been trying to work at it, and it's not getting much better than it is now. I'm not putting eggs in that basket personally.
Okay. That's fair. I'm not going to argue with you. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate you. And thanks for the support here, bud. When we get pass happy versus these teams that have grown comfortable with our passing scheme, it feels like we're willing to try tying one of our arms behind our back. And you're absolutely right. They know the tendencies. They're comfortable playing six. They know Andy's going to go to it. They're not when we talked last night about not being afraid of the run, that's why. Is because they know no matter how many times, if Kareem gets 3 carries in a row, I might have a heart attack. And they know that it'll never happen again. So they don't have to guard the run every play. They know they might need to guard it on first down. And after that, it's a crapshoot. They're comfortable letting the running back get a couple. And honestly, I think that does play into why the Chiefs are efficiently running the ball when they do. Because they ain't scared and they're happy to just guard the pass because they know that they can frustrate the quarterback.
So often, Patrick Mahomes has bailed this football team out of what I am beginning to believe is a growing scheme issue. I'm starting to be far more leaning to the sense that Andy Reid is trying to say that he can out-scheme every defense that is just sitting in what he wants to do. The reason I say this, if you go back and watch, a lot of what we are seeing is Andy Reid trying to scheme open a player or two on a certain play. That means there are, at any given time, 2 or 3 players not actively
running dummy routes is what Dan is basically saying, is that there's so much that isn't being used. Sorry, Danny, cut out, so I just kind of filled in.
I didn't even get like a circle this time, so I don't know how it's going there. But yeah, dummy routes. Basically, hey, you run to the safety. Hey, you run down the field. Basically, create space. And those are wasted routes. The reason you see Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy not creating separation against man coverage is because a lot of their man coverage reps are, hey, just go run this way. Don't even bother. Like, it's not good scheme right now. And defenses can sit on Travis Kelce or Rashee Rice over the middle of the field because that is the go-to. It is where they go with the football.
And quite frankly, running to a man means that you're not moving the man. And the whole offense can be helped by moving safeties out of the way, by drawing them down, drawing them to the side. By running to them, you basically anchor them where they are. And maybe that's the comfort point because you know where it's at. You know they're going to sit. I don't. I want to move them off of those spots. I want to clear the way so that once you catch the ball, you have 30 yards of yak, not 3. That's what I'm looking for. But not everybody is me, and I'm not a passing genius, but that's what I would do. Jordan, thank you for your support. And thank you for the question. It was a great one. Folks, we really do have a dynastic question. We're going to get to that next, right after this. Have other boot brands that you experience taken a long time to break in? Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they're good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt thought that was all BS, so they built boots tough and give you a great feel from day one, no break-in, no sore feet, because people out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. I wear these because they just get things done. You can see in their quality across the board that comfort is part of it, but so is all the toughness that you're looking for. Brunt was tired of workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to get stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better, boots that are insanely comfortable for any job site right now. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off of Brunt when you use the code RGR at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code RGR and you're good to go. And after you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them that it was from RGR. There is lots and lots and lots that goes into this. And I don't want to minimize anybody's contribution. But there's also a thing about continuity. And to this point, and thank you, Brian, for bringing this up, you probably said it better than I said it last night. It feels like the Patriots during their drought. And that's a fair point. Like, I do believe, and if you guys get a chance to watch Locked On Chiefs, you'll hear a different aspect of this, but the same concept. I do think the culture's grown stale, and it's grown Mahomes dependent. They're crackheads. They're used to getting their fix of Mahomes making magic all the time, and everybody stands around too damn much.
I mean, I don't disagree. It does feel like this scheme is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes going to make something happen. And based off of, and by the way, the Chiefs' run game is not good. Like they have two of the worst explosive run rate for an offense of the last, I don't know how many years, but 2024 and 2025 are among the worst. But if your goal, which it is of Andy Reid's, is to get players into space, how do you think? This is a brain teaser. How do you think you can create space for players? I don't know. I mean, I've been watching a lot of football, a lot of tape over the last 6 or 7 years. And the one thing that seems to always work is running the football. Because when you run the football, even at 5, 6, 7 yards a clip, when you keep doing it, what happens to the safeties and linebackers? They're coming downhill. They're coming downhill. And then under center play action becomes a real thing. It's not just a trope that you put out there, because that's the big thing I'm coming back to is the Chiefs run under center only to create deep shots. That is it. And every defense in the NFL is like, okay, if they're going to run the football here from under center, fine. We'll live with the 11-yard carry from Kareem Hunt. But if they're going to run under center so that they can run play action off of it, we're going to play the pass. We'll take the run. You go ahead. We're just going to keep on the back end here because we know what you're going to do eventually.
I agree. And to the point here is that happened to the Patriots as well. They got to the point where the expectation was so consistent that players let up, and the coaches let up. And I do agree that the culture changes invaded the coaching staff. Patriots were able to reset. It had to get painful. They'd let some good players go, and they had to bring in some low-cost, older players. The Law years. You could even call Moss a late addition because he was, 9 seasons in or something when they acquired him? I can't even remember. But it was fairly late. But that's what they have to start doing, unfortunately. If they want to follow that path, there are other ways to do it. But that's even more painful where you're cutting players that aren't necessarily past their prime. So there are things that can be done, but the Patriots are able to turn it back. And as much as I hate to keep comparing the Chiefs to the Patriots, if this is the drought that they went through, they were able to get back on top of the hill. And I still believe that this team can as well, but it does require a bit of evolution. There's no way around it.
Nope.
I think it's the Chiefs. Oh, this from Brett. And thank you, Brian. Yeah, I think the Chiefs players mentally not there and probably burnt out. That's fair after how many seasons they've had that have been so long. I'm not seeing a team having fun anymore. Their body language looks terrible to me. What do you think of that? Is there enough levity with this team?
I think that they just, honestly, it feels like they have also grown to expect we'll figure it out. Patrick will figure it out. Spags will get a blitz home here. It feels like that they are relying on the things that have bailed them out in the past, kind of understandably so. But the problem with that becomes when you say every game is a must win, when you say we have to get these errors fixed, when you say this player is working on this, we're working on that, but it doesn't show up on game day, I no longer believe that you believe what you're saying.
It's lip service at that point, right? It's not. And honestly, I hate to go back to the whole drug addict thing, but if you continually take something or you grow a tolerance, right? And hey, we have to fix this. You have to guys get this figured out. It starts to not be as meaningful. And you start to think, well, I'm going to be okay doing what I'm doing. I'm going to get through. I'm going to save myself for the playoffs, just like coach. Everybody's going to save themselves for the playoffs. And next thing you know, you're 5-5. Apologies, folks. But that's the way that works. Steve, nice to see you. How much has Kingsley's cousin Sewell helped him in his development this year? I don't know. Honestly, I wish I had an idea like how much they might have gotten together over the offseason. I'm not certain of that, but I will tell you this. I know from what I know of my Polynesian friends, when your cousin or your older brother is successful and you start slow, the whole family knows it. And the whole thing gets about what you doing wrong. Can't keep up with cuz, right? Like that's how it turns, at least with my pals. So like, I'm sure there was some pressure. I'm guessing he helped, but I can't tell you how much. Do you have an idea, Dan?
I have no clue, unfortunately. I'd love to get to talk to Kingsley, and hopefully he's okay. And obviously, he suffered a concussion yesterday. I'm not going to say it because it's unfortunate that he got injured on an interception, much like Rasheed Rice got injured on an interception last year.
Yeah.
However, they were both throws that never should have actually happened. And that is a very unfortunate circumstance to find yourself in, where Patrick makes a pretty bad mistake and then somebody gets hurt because of it. Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes it compounds it because he goes taken off the field because now he's pissed.
Yeah.
That's how he got Rasheed. I don't recall the mechanism of Kingsley's concussion, but Patrick, no offense, buddy, you're still human, and at 30 years old, wisdom should tell you, I don't need to throw that right here. And it sometimes feels like he's still that 21-year-old kid that's like, you know what? I'm just going to show you I can because I can. Why is Pat's deep ball so terrible? I think we went over this, Swag Boy, but we'll finish the question. We see rookies make these throws. No excuses. He has a good O-line and 4.2 receivers. It's on Pat. Will he ever fix this? I don't think so, sadly. I do think that there's something that he can fix. We talked about why early in the show. If you missed it, Swag, we'll get back there, although I think your question came in before we even started, so I'm sure you heard it. So I will just shut up and move on, but thank you, Swag, because you have another one. Not dogging Pat, but we haven't seen him play a complete season since 22. Fans never want to hold him accountable. It's annoying. Well, we try to. There are significant reasons that are more glaring than his performance, but that's going to end after this season. This wide receiver crew stays healthy this season.
Mm-hmm.
This offensive line continues to block pretty well. Wasn't their greatest day yesterday as a unit, as a 5-man unit, but still decent. They continue that, then it's going to turn back to, okay, what's the quarterback doing?
And that's the thing. I think the protection's been pretty good. I started off really good in that game. It got a little bit worse when they said, oh, they're not running the football. Okay, we're just going to tee off on you now. That happens no matter who you're facing for the most part. But it's annoying. You're right, Swag. It's annoying.
It is. Anubis, hope you're good. Who does it ultimately fall on? Mahomes looked rough. He threw 2 passes directly to the defense. Good point. And on the same drive, the coaching fell flat. Gentlemen, what happened? I think it's just this comfort out on the ledge that we're going to figure it out. We don't have to be our A game. Well, guess what? You need to be on your damn A game.
You know what? I see something in the chat here from Nevis. I'm going to put it up real quick because I think this is fantastic. If you guys haven't seen Rocky 3, go back and watch 1 and 2 and then watch 3 because this is fantastic from Nevis. But there is an iconic scene where Rocky is racing on the beach with Apollo Creed, and he just falls back in the race and just kind of slumps her over. His wife goes over to him and like dogs at him, and he yells at her, "I'm afraid." He's afraid. Right now, the Chiefs are afraid to face themselves in the mirror and identify that they are the problem with what's going on right now. You have to have that moment where you face it and you address it, not just to yourself, to the mirror, but to the entire room of the team. Be afraid. Be okay to be afraid in that moment. And now you can go back and play free.
Nevis with the top rope movie reference. I love it. And I love the analogy, Dan. Well done. Thank you, Nevis. You're the man. Brad's got another one. Tell me, why are they playing poorly at 1-4 on the road? And they feel like we hit rock bottom at this point with this Chiefs team. I don't think so. That could have been a blowout. If you want to hit rock bottom, see what happens when they lose by 20. That's going to be painful. I don't think that's coming, though. This was arguably a top 3 defense in this league. I don't think things get harder from here, but you got to look in the mirror and you got to be able and willing to face that and turn it around. As far as the whole 1-4 on the road thing, honestly, they won by the skin of their chinny chin last year a couple of times. And I think the law average just came back and football god said, piss off. Now you get to lose. I don't know what else to tell you.
I don't either. That feels just more random. Like last year, winning as many close games as they did was kind of random at times. So I'm with you.
Should we draft Jeremiah Love? What do you think?
This really depends on where the Chiefs end up drafting.
But let's say they screw it all the way up, and it's a possibility. I'm just going to sit back now, folks. Sorry.
No, I'm saying if the Chiefs are drafting in the top 15, no.
Okay.
They should be going after a pass rusher because they desperately need a pass rusher. But if we're talking 2025, absolutely.
Okay. Got you. Okay. I was taking it the other way, as he might not be available past 15. So
I mean, he might not be anyway, but still, if the Chiefs are bad enough to where they are finally picking in the top 15 for the first time since Patrick Mahomes was drafted, you go for an edge rusher. You do not waste that. No offense, Jeremiah Love. You're going to be a great player in the NFL. You don't waste that on a running back. You have to get game-changing defensive or offensive line players in that top 15. The offensive line group is not very good. It's not very good. But it's a very good edge rusher class.
I personally like one of them like more than I should. And we'll discuss him.
Is it Cassius Howell?
It's not. It's not. You know me. I got a type 2. It ain't Spags type, but I got a type 2. So
I just hope it's not who I think it is.
What school do you think it is?
Auburn.
Dan knows me. No, it's not.
Okay.
It's corner of my eye. He's a Red Raider, and I'm.
He's not a first round player though.
No, I know. I didn't say that he was.
Okay.
I just like the kid. So
I was thinking first round. So we're okay.
No. Okay, cool. Perry, thank you. As we go through this whole mentality, I was going to lounge back, and I just didn't like it. It wasn't good TV, so I'm back. It may be early, but now we have the number 15. Who would you choose? The Falk. I haven't seen him, or Woods. Fell also after looking at Smith pass rush. It was on 15.
Unfortunately, here, guys, Falk is exactly who the Chiefs would draft. Especially because Steve Spagnuolo is going to be your defensive coordinator still, and that is George Karlaftis 2.0. They're the same player. I wouldn't draft either of those players at 15. I mean, Peter Woods is really good. I'm excited about him. However, I still think in this situation with the top 15 pick, you need a real edge rusher. You need a legitimate edge rusher. And if they have 15, I'm trading up to go get Reuben Bain Jr. probably if I can. Like I'm going to try to find a way to do it if possible. But again, that's limited information on my part. I haven't watched a ton because you guys know I do tight ends, corners, and safeties for Bleacher Report. So my time is much more divided into that range. I just get information based on the meetings that we have. But I don't know, man.
I hear you. I'm not going to argue. I don't know enough of him. I've seen a little bit of Miami's film. But I saw him lined up inside a lot, so I wasn't sure if he's a true edge. I haven't seen enough film yet, so we'll get
He's a
there.
legit edge. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Perry, thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
you
Perry.
very much. Excuse me. Alex had one, and thanks for being a member, Alex. 3rd and 1, Shaquem Hunt up the middle every time. When will Andy learn run the damn ball, Andy? I completely agree with you about the concept, not necessarily up the middle. That off of tackle stuff, even from the far side, was still working.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have run right over Trey and try to hit that B gap, and I think you could have done it. There's no need to get cute there. That was a coaching mishap.
I am going to be talking a lot about the 3rd down decisions in this football game on Wednesday. A lot of them.
I appreciate you. Cody, thank you. And another member question here. Lack of success attributed to not going under center, play action formations, or varying formations enough. Was it too much 11? I didn't see the percentages. Did you?
I mean, I took my notes as always. There was a lot of 11 early on in this football game. Their second drive, we have 8 plays of 11 personnel, 1 of 12, 1 of 21. Third drive, we have 9 of 11, 5, 12, a couple of 13 thrown in there, a lot more 11, more 11, 11. They ran a lot more 11 personnel in this game than they typically do until a weird 2nd and 10 where they thought, hey, let's put Rashee Rice in the backfield and bring out 13 personnel. That was we're also going to talk about that decision when you know the defense knows you're going to throw the football. Oh boy, I can't stand that one. That bothered me just about as much as almost anything that I saw in this football game in terms of decisions. But I think that when I watch this, maybe it's a lack of explosiveness that Andy Reid doesn't like, and that's why they're not running the football a lot. They're not a good running offense in terms of explosiveness, but they're efficient. I can't get behind this fact that they don't run the football because they just aren't explosive, and they refuse. They line up Brashard Smith in the backfield and refuse to give him the football. Every defense knows they're going to throw it. I don't have to worry about that. Elijah Mitchell's not getting the football. It's a pass. You don't have to ever worry about it.
That's the thing, is you're making the mindset and the keys so much more simple for the defense. Is you're not giving yourself a chance to manipulate anyone. That's the giant problem. Thank you, Cody. Crimson, who do you realistically think we can draft in the 1st round to improve our pass rush? Is there any world where we trade up for Bain? Just as you just said.
Yeah. You'd have to get up. I think you'd have to be drafting in the top 15 and then trade up probably into the top 10. And again,
player, right?
I know that the quarterback situation here isn't great. I still think if Ty Simpson comes out, he's going to draft in the top 10. I also believe that Fernando Mendoza probably goes number 1 overall to the Jets. I think that's going to happen. So I think you might have to get into the top 10 just to get him anyway. So it's an unrealistic proposition still, but you know, they need somebody that's dynamic as a pass rusher.
Yeah, I certainly do. You cannot just have straight power. Thank you, Crimson. Buzzed, hope you're good. What does it mean, or what does it say about Colin Saunders if the Chiefs didn't make a play for him? Could he have helped in any way? I think he could have been helpful. I haven't seen him on the field enough to know for certain, but I do think that this was a decision that was made straightforward, that they didn't want him back, period. And it wasn't really much of a concept.
No, that apparently he tried. I saw on Twitter, he tried. He probably had his agent reach out. They weren't interested. I find it hard to believe that Derek Nottie and Mike Pennell were worth bringing back, but Colin Saunders wasn't. But I have not watched Colin play this year, so I can't know. But I will tell you this: I don't believe in anything they're doing in defensive tackle. So maybe they don't.
Generally,
really know.
A black hole in there anyway. So who knows what's going on? Thanks, Buzzed. Perry, again, what do you think about Andy's answer today on the running game? How much it seems like an excuse versus the truth? I have this very same impression. There's one thing about Andy making or falling on the sword usually when execution and performance isn't there. He's like, I could have called better plays to get him in position. This was just like I could have called better plays to get them to execute better, was the paraphrased quote. That's a bunch of BS, because that's basically just saying these guys ain't playing for nothing. I believe it was just an excuse to come off as a happy granddad like he likes to do without saying anything that's going to rile anything up. But the fact is, you didn't get it done. You didn't call things enough to be hard-nosed, and the players didn't play hard-nosed enough to beat a team who simply was tired of losing to you for 9 damn years, unless Patrick's not on the field. They know last year's win in week 18 was as much BS as anything else. So they were after it. They wanted it more than you, and that's on the coach.
Don't tell the Denver Broncos beat reporters they think Sean Payton's the greatest thing to ever come about beating the Chiefs. So just be careful there. But Perry has a question, and there's like 2 other ones that kind of involve the same thing that I want to get to, so that we can get all these in the same thing. So Perry, thank you for that. Leading into MH, talking about thoughts on Andy Reid saying RPOs are called and ended up mainly as passes. I didn't see a ton of RPO yesterday. This is what we're going to talk about here because it leads into the super chat from Nick Lannington. So thank you very much for the super chat. And he came out and said that the run plays are being checked out of. Thoughts on that? So all of this comes into the same topic that I wanted to get to. Andy Reid is hiding behind RPO calls. You want to know why? Because he is, in my opinion, he kind of blamed Patrick Mahomes a little bit because Patrick willingly, almost always, does not hand the football off in RPOs. So he can plausible deniability. I'm calling runs, but they're not being called. They're not being run. They're being checked into passes. This is where it doesn't connect. You come into the half saying we need to get the run game going, and then you give Kareem Hunt two, 3 carries in the second half, but then you say RPOs are being called and they're being there. If you actually care about getting the run game going, you won't give Patrick a choice. You will say, run this play. You will under center, you will run the football, and you will make it a point. There was never a point made about the run game. There was never a point made about the run game against the Buffalo Bills, even though we just watched the Miami Dolphins and the Buccaneers run rampant all over that defense. But no, we don't. RPOs were called. I have plausible deniability. It is a scapegoat, and honestly, it is one of the most despicable things I've ever heard Andy Reid say, ever. He basically lied to your face and said, we wanted to get the run game going, but, the RPOs were called there, but, they just didn't hand them off. It's despicable. So thank you, Nick. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, because there was another one too. Howard mentioned it here, right, about the run percent. So yeah, there was a bunch of it, and it's not anything that can't be fixed. You just have to want to do it. You're creative in every other way. You put full backfields, you put wideouts in backfields, put linemen in backfields, and let's just cram somebody. Go run somebody over. Enjoy that aspect of it, Andy. I think the fact is that Andy was in a pass-happy offense when he was a player. Mike Holmgren wanted to throw the ball, the whole West Coast thing, and he just never liked it. He's just never going to do it. And that's the truth.
Had to get that off my chest, guys, so thank you.
You did well. Why do we value draft picks over proven players? And at what point do we take players who are proven in the league instead of college prospects? Well, this is what it comes down to, Cody. It's about value. The value that you put right here is the key, because value in the league for proven players is expensive as hell. And that's the problem. And so you want to guard, especially your top 100 picks, because that's what allows you to reset with talent that is a quarter of the cost. Maybe less than that at this point, man.
Guys, I know this. I'm not trying to pick on you, Cody. This feels like something targeted about Breece Hall.
Oh,
Breece Hall's not helping you out.
Okay? No,
I understand what I understand the idea in our heads. If they trade a 3rd round pick for him, they have to use him, right? No. That's
if
not
they had traded
how
for
works.
Breece Hall, we'd be sitting here screaming right now about you just gave away a 3rd round pick to not use him, right?
and also, if let's just say, for the sake of argument, they run the ball a little bit more with Breece Hall. Fine. Here's the problem: multiple injuries with Breece Hall. He's going to ask for an extension after you trade for him.
Oh yeah,
and he's getting older. Running back age, they deteriorate very, very quickly. I'm not saying Breece Hall is going to be bad over the next couple of years. I don't know that. However, I can tell you that a 3rd or 4th round pick next year in the draft can be younger have far less tread on the tires, and also get better in your system. So they would, in that situation, they would much rather have a 3rd round pick that they can say he doesn't have nearly as much wear and tear on his tires, doesn't have as many injuries, and we can kind of project upwards, than a Breece Hall, who we might trade for and might decrease in value and production as he gets older.
Yeah, and that's what they're scared to death of, Andy in particular. Battery, appreciate you. While we're creating wish lists here, why don't we go steal OSU's wide receiver coach? That's a wonderful idea. I don't even know the man's name.
Brian Hartline is
oh, is it Brian?
He's the OC now, but he's their wide receiver coach as well. He's not going. I don't think he's going anywhere
but to that head coaching
maybe job. Have a head coaching job. But I think he's waiting for Ryan Day to eventually leave, and so he can take over as the head coach of Ohio State.
I forgot it was Hardline. Damn, I'm just terrible with the college staffs. Battery also had this one, and thanks for the support, Pelly. Why don't we bring Kevin Stefanski as the OC? Do you think that would even mesh? I have a hard time seeing it.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly. I think it would be good for both of them. I think Kevin Stefanski has been a head coach for so long and gotten stagnant over in Cleveland, but they've also never got the quarterback thing right. It would give him an opportunity to work with a great quarterback and not a bunch of throwaways and then a disgusting human being. But, I don't know if it would work for both ends. I do think it would be a nice reset for Kevin Stefanski. Just one, to kind of have fun again. I don't know the last time he's had fun. That dude has been this would be fun for him. So I think that would be a cool thing to see, a Battery, but I don't know how open Andy Reid would be to that because of former head coach. You know what I mean? Granted, Dave,
and as a bonus, you don't have to deal with Shedeur anymore. So hey, it's just nice all the way around.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I didn't like the call on the late hit from Zach Allen. And secondly, we've got to get back to more balanced offense and running with Smith or Mitchell. What say you? I'm not a big fan of Mitchell right now. I don't know why he hasn't been in, but putting him in the conditions that he's been in, I don't like it. And I didn't see anything that made me want him around. So, Daniel, I completely agree. Elsewise, I just want to see Smith. That's what I'm here for.
It's time. If I don't know what they were doing during the bye week, but it was not getting him run plays. Kareem Hunt can only do so much for you guys, and he's doing he's playing admirably. You need to run the football more with Rashard Smith. You need to. At this point, you don't have a choice.
And even I was to the point where I didn't want to see it, but now I have to.
Yeah.
Kelsey, what are your thoughts on why this team seems worse situationally than the last few years, despite having more talent? Is it discipline or maybe a lack of focus since the team is more talented? I still feel like it's like everybody's just waiting for like, oh, I'll do this or I'll do that or I'll contribute. I don't have to be the guy. When they have focused on a guy, when they feed Kels 13 targets, when they feed Rashid 10 targets, when you had to get Xavier involved, they were able to move the ball. It's this lack of like, I got to make everybody happy BS. Like, you have to go beat that team in front of you. You have to exploit their weaknesses. That's all you have to do.
It sounds simple, right? It sounds simple. I know it's not. And we've seen, we've as Chiefs fans and as people who cover the team, we've witnessed a lot of greatness over the past, nearly a decade, right? It hasn't even been a decade yet, but we're approaching that point. And much like fans, I think sometimes you expect it for a coaching staff. We've seen it every year. It's just going to happen. Eventually, one time, it's just not going to happen. And this is the year. Right now, it's not happening. Right now, it does not look like it's their year to not only win the Super Bowl, but make the postseason, because that's what it looks like right now.
Could be.
I hold the right to change my opinion if they show me something different. That is how everyone should approach this. You can be frustrated. You can be mad. You can say, this needs to change, that needs to change. When it does, if it does, you are allowed. I'm giving you permission. You are allowed to be happy about that and say, thank you. I like what I'm seeing, and we can go forward.
I like it. And I appreciate the permission. Sometimes I forget about that. I just want to jump Callie up here because Callie, I said the same damn thing. Sean Payton said they were more of a first half team coming out at halftime. If that's not an indictment, I don't know what it is. And you're absolutely right. If you're not scared of this team in the fourth quarter, this ain't right. you're doing something wrong.
They scored 2 touchdowns in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the thought process, but he technically was wrong.
Right.
He was technically wrong. The problem is teams are going into this football game. If we come in even or with them at halftime, we're in this game.
We're there. Yeah, absolutely. Chiefs comments, is Worthy regressing, plateaued, or is he the victim of stagnant offense and downfield passing attack? Losing faith if he gets an extension. I wonder if he becomes a trade piece. I mean, he's in his second season. How can you be regressing?
I'd like to address this. No offense. I'm going to cut you off.
I'll shut up. Go.
And this isn't your fault. I understand. He's got 2 injuries. He's dealing with 2 injuries. He's dealing with the shoulder, which is painful every. I guarantee you, it's painful every day. And he's dealing with an ankle injury that he's recurring every single week. He came off of a bye and popped up on the injury report with an ankle injury. He's not regressing. He can't get healthy because they desperately refuse to let him rest. He probably shouldn't have played this week against the Broncos, but you know what? They needed him out there to run decoy routes, I guess. Yeah. So
that's the thing. I thought if he played, he'd be healthy enough that you could use him as a weapon. I think he should have been the focus of that game plan myself. If he was healthy.
He still ran past Jahdae Barrett. Like, not even.
I know,
like,
right?
He still ran past him. So, like, that's put into perspective that he's still out there effective enough at times. And when he runs a real route, he can create separation, but he's not fully healthy. That has got to be in the forefront of everyone's mind when we talk about Xavier Worthy, because he looked vastly different last year when he was fully healthy. He looked different. And this year he's not. He hasn't been healthy at all. He got hurt the very first game.
And it's going to be an uphill battle the rest of the way. Last call for Super Chats, folks. We're going to get into them. But Q-Ball, thank you for 4 years in the memberships. It is beautiful to see, and thank you very much. I need a rant this week. I'm feeling like this is the first time in years that we truly missed the playoffs. Do you think that this is the wake-up call they need? And Dan's already planning a rant, but you want to preview it in any way?
I mean, I've already given you guys so many points from tonight. Like, I'm probably going to go in more on Andy Reid and the RPO thing from today, because that really grinds my gears, like more so than you guys saw just now. But there's a lot that I'm seeing that I do not appreciate from a, like Ryan talked about earlier, lip service perspective. It's not okay at this point. There needs to be real accountability being taken. So we will have a rant for sure. And we will only find out if this is the wake-up call they need, I believe, this week against the Colts.
Agreed.
Because if it isn't, it's not happening. Because if you lose to the Colts, you're 5-6 and your window is closed. You're not making the postseason this year.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right at the way that everybody else in the AFC is playing. And I'm going to jump William up here because 48 months as well. Same month. I appreciate you, pal. What coaches need to leave in order for the necessary schematic personnel changes to happen? Assuming that they miss the playoffs, what dream draft pick would you pick for them in the 12 to 17 range? So who needs to go off the staff first and foremost? I think we've answered the other one.
Yeah, appreciate this, William. And hopefully we'll have more information about drafting as, this gets closer and closer to draft season, which it is getting closer. I will be honest. It is time for the Chiefs to move on from Dave Toub. It's over. Their special teams has been one of the worst that I have seen, and it has gotten progressively worse, I think, over the last 3 years. I understand that there's a lot of respect around the league. I know that Andy Reid and him have a great friendship. Their special teams this year is not good. And it's, like I said, it's been getting progressively worse. And again, I was high on Remigio coming back as the punt returner. I thought last year he had earned it.
Yeah.
He's not looking good. He looks worse. Harrison Butker seemingly has multiple problems every single week. Yep. I mean, this past week he was fine, but they had an extra point blocked.
No, he still kicked the dang kickoff wrong.
That's right. He kicked off out of bounds. Second time it's happened this year.
Right.
So there's something going on. I can't explain it, but Dave Toub needs to go.
That's a tough one, but I hear where you're coming from. As far as the draft picks, edge, DT, edge, DT. Correct me if you've heard this before. Edge, DT. At this point, I don't know which is worse because Amenahue put up 6 pressures yesterday. Haven't seen him show all season long, and maybe he's another one who's holding it back for the end. But that ain't working for me. I need somebody that can actually get to the quarterback all year long.
Please. Please. And no offense to you, Spagnuolo. I love you. You're one of the greatest defensive coaches of all time, in my opinion. I hope you get a head coaching job.
Enjoy that. It's one of the bucket lists. It shows on the field, and Madman's on the same page here. Is Andy getting old and probably not able to prepare the way he used to? That is part of it. I agree with you. I am noticing less and less preparation and more of we're going to dictate what we do and just get by. And I don't think it's coordinated enough anymore to dictate. That's the problem.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched some of the documentaries the Chiefs and everyone does. Andy Reid, in my opinion, still loves the game. He still approaches it the same way that he always has. I don't think it's the preparation. I think it's coaching hubris. I think that he believes that he can just do whatever he wants to do and they'll figure it out. And because he has Patrick Mahomes, he's been bailed out from stale offenses and over the past couple of years. And it feels like this year he's asking the same things, but we're not seeing the same things, but we're also not getting the adjustments that we've typically seen. So I don't know if it's getting old and not being able to prepare the same way. I just feel like defenses are saying, we know what you want to do. And we also know now you refuse to run the football. So guess what? I can sit on just about everything, and we can hope that Patrick Mahomes just has a average fourth quarter, and we're going to be fine.
Yep, and that's their game plan at this point. Thanks, Madman. We're going to wrap it up here real quick. Last call for questions. What are you seeing on the tape with the receivers? Faithful is asking. Are they running bad routes? Are they not able to get open? Or are they just not being used correctly? Overall, not to give away your film room on Wednesday, folks. Come back and watch that. But what do you got?
For the most part, I'm seeing them not being asked to run nuanced, complex routes. There are a lot of the exact same run to this safety. And I hate watching players run to defenders. That is one of my pet peeves. And I understand scheme-wise, sometimes you need to do that to clear up space. The problem is if you're not connecting your run game to those schemed up plays, it doesn't matter. You're running to space for no reason because you have someone else just taking over that space. So it doesn't matter. I don't think that they are running enough actual real routes. I don't think either Rashee Rice or Xavier Worthy are being challenged enough to run real routes and to learn a release package because they're being asked to scheme everybody open. So that's my opinion, because when I watch them release, there's not much there. I felt that Xavier was a better release player in college than he is here. And maybe that's a little bit with his ankle right now. Maybe that's just because of what he's being asked to do. Overall, I'm seeing wide receivers that are not being asked, they're not being challenged enough to learn a full route tree.
That sucks because that hurts you for more than 1 year. That's just not a season problem. That's a career problem at that point. Thank you, Faithful. Appreciate you. Roy, someone said CJ said that Nick's called out the defense before the play. Spag's not changing it up enough. I don't know if it's not changing it up enough. He might have recognized it doesn't feel like it's just as experimental, but it also just felt like less aggressive the last 2 weeks. Last 2 games, sorry.
I'm with you. And that's what Chris said. He said that they knew what was coming. They knew exactly what was coming, which in that moment, you have to at least be a little bit unpredictable. Give him a simulated pressure. Where are the Chiefs simulated? They don't do any real, true simulated pressures where you still rush 4, but they're different. You pretty much get the same 4 guys rushing every time. Every now and then they'll run a simulated pressure, but it is very few and far in between. The one time I saw it earlier in that game, George Karlaftis dropped into coverage and then got beat. Like, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And that again goes back to the difference between a power defensive end and a speed outside linebacker, because you can't run the same simulations in the variations of what the athletic ability is of those players. That's what determines it. We've been happy with our corners, haven't been poached for years. Is the bill coming due and having virtually no turnover and fresh ideas almost a decade? It is starting to get there, and that's why we're like, some head coaching jobs coming for Matt Nagy might be a plus.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I won't argue.
Just got to be some turnover, real turnover.
Bozzy, we have one play where Smith ran outside zone and it went for like 6 or 7 yards. Yep. Got called back on a penalty and never went back to it. Shaking my head. Yep, you're absolutely right. And thanks for the support. And that's the stuff that drives me absolutely batty. They were running outside zone and Kareem was cutting it back all the way across the formation yesterday, and it was working. And yet you don't think a speedier, more explosive back could help you? What an idea.
I appreciate the support, Bozzy, and this haunts me. It haunts me because it just goes back to the coaching hubris. They refuse.
I tell you what. I'm not sure how to say this. Is why I tried to give myself a minute to pull it together, but I'm gonna call it Nair because I refuse to pronounce the K. I'm sorry if that's offensive, but I don't know. I don't know what else to do. In the offseason, would you trade McDuffie for a number one pick and a number one pick for any player such as Myles Garrett? I would not trade that for Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is 30 years old.
29 still. He's 29 still.
Is he 29 still?
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, yes, he's having a hell of a year, and yes, he is a hell of a player, but there's got to be an end in sight, right? I can't bet that I'm going to get 4 seasons out of him that I would get with that number one pick. Plus, I lose McDuffie? No, I couldn't do it.
I get it. Like, I don't think I would do it either. What I have also learned is that I'm willing to bet on the alien. Derrick Henry, if everyone thought he was done 4 or 5 years ago, he's an alien. Myles Garrett is an alien, and I'm willing to bet on that. However, a first-round pick and Trent McDuffie is hard for me. But I'm talking myself into it. I think I might do it.
Dang. Okay. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Knight, nice to see you. Thanks, buddy. Even if this is the end of the dynasty, guess what? It had been a hell of a ride, and I would do it all over again. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely,
and I think if they don't make the playoffs, it'll be a pause on it, is what I'm convincing myself of. Beach, when was the last time we had a good free agent signing? Was it Joe Tooney?
I think you might be right.
Yeah, bro. That sounds about right.
I mean, I'm not willing to say that Jalen Moore was a bad free agent signing. I just don't think he was like a great free agent signing, but he was not top of market value tackle. He's been good depth. He's given you spot starts already, and I still think he's going to be your right tackle next year. So I think that one we can wait to see. However, it's not great looking at the rest of the free agent signings.
I'm sorry, I forgot about him. Yeah, that is, and the jury's still out. So yeah, that's probably why he slipped my mind. But thanks, Beach. Great question. Gary, our mod, give him a hand, and thank you, Gary, for everything you do for us. Could Coach Reed retire next year? It's a possibility. I think it's more like if they don't make the playoffs, I think everybody's like, oh, this is what February's like when you don't have crap to do. I guess we'll go on vacation. And my guess is they all come back and decide to return and be rejuvenated because they're going to have an extra month off of the season, is my guess.
I hope. But at the end of the day, he's going to do what he feels is best. I don't think he's done coaching, so I don't believe it's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm not thinking that either. All right, and we're going to end it up here. Thank you, Red, and thank you, Gary, and thank you, Buko. Where did Tanyan go? Can he not be an H and lead block once or twice? I'd put Chanel in number 5 back before there's that point, and that's fair. I wouldn't lead block with Tanyan myself. They finally targeted him, though, so I was happy to see that. It wasn't worth anything, but, whatever. But I honestly feel like it's just ridiculous. And I've given up. On the fullback thing. I'm just never going to be happy again is what I've decided.
Don't say that. I mean, sure, you'll be happy again, but it's
not about football.
Not football. No, I mean, that's not true.
That's going to do it for us, folks. Thanks for being with us. We definitely appreciate you. And it's been a cathartic night, I would call it. Dan, how you feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling fine, guys. I'm still like, I'm at this point where I feel like this team is nearing what we're going to find out what they are. Like this next week, I think we're going to find out what they are, what actual resilience they have. But I'm also at that point where, regardless of what happens the rest of the season, if they figure it out or not, there are things that need to change. And we've talked about this for the last 2 to 3 years. But we've also kind of gone back about, they figure it out. We've given them a little bit of leniency. But one thing that we've always consistently done is tell you guys the truth about that. Like, we have been consistent in saying this needs to change. It needs to change. I don't think there's any more. We can give them some slack here. The slack is gone. They are at the end of that rope, no matter what, because defenses are shifting. The times are changing, and it is time to start to actually make real, fundamental, schematic culture changes. Whether that's going to be offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, I don't know. But I do think that this is the year, regardless, like I said, of what happens, that they need to figure some things out internally going forward.
I'm 100% with you. Folks, thanks for being with us. Thank you for riding it out. We got more for you. Go get the gear and do all the stuff. We'll be back with you tomorrow with a few more of my thoughts, and hopefully I might be walking in the snow if I do my walk series. If not, we'll find out, but cross your fingers for me. Dan's back after that, Gary as well, and then we'll get you ready for the Colts, so don't miss it. Have a great week, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.